Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. As always, my name is Brittney. This is the Brittney Reacts Show, and on this show we talk about all things entertainment news. I've been updating you guys about the Hollywood strikes, about various movies being greenlit and in development. We have a lot of really interesting things to talk about today, actually. Firstly, it's looking like we're gonna get some sort of Barbie versus Bratz series. We're gonna talk about that. That could be interesting. I don't know, we'll see. Secondly, some bad news. David Harbour recently did just say that filming for Stranger Things 5 will take a year to complete. A year, y'all, so don't expect this show anytime soon, unfortunately. And of course, The Flash, the embarrassing news just keeps on coming. The movie actually flopped on Max. Not only did it flop in theaters, but no one's even watching on the streaming service. That's really embarrassing. And then, of course, there are actually rumors that somehow, some way, we might actually be getting a She-Hulk Season 2. I highly doubt it. We're going to talk about why I doubt it, but maybe it can happen. And then, of course, we have a little bit of strike news to talk about as well. Both Bob Iger and David Zaslav are apparently very butthurt about how poorly the strikes are going. So we're going to talk about that. Selena Gomez might be a scab, maybe? I don't know. She's in some trouble as well, so we're going to talk about that. So as I told you, we have a lot of things to discuss today. How are you guys doing? Hi Folklore Corner, hi Maggie Kitchen, hi Turo, hi Duchess Lulu, hi The Free Rocket Man, hi Fod Fareed, hi Natanya Mullings, who's now a new moderator. I did see your comment, Natanya, asking to be a moderator, so that's why I made you one. So welcome everyone. Thank you, Natanya, for moderating. You're already doing a great job. As always, please make sure to subscribe to the channel to never miss out a single live stream. Also, please make sure to like this live stream so it helps spread the live stream out to more people so we can all have a bigger discussion together. All right. Now, moving on, let's just jump straight into the news. Because, of course, as I mentioned, the strike news. The strike is not going well, y'all. The strike is not going well. So, the first thing we have to mention, as I've been telling you guys, just last week, the writers and the studios tried to have a meeting. They tried to work things out, but it didn't go very well. The writers apparently felt very much ambushed by the studios, who apparently never really had genuine intentions, and the deal they put forth to them was full of loopholes, as we discussed. It wasn't actually a very good deal. So now, oh, and of course, the studios also realized that no one likes them right now, because they hired a PR firm to handle their crisis image, because they realized that these strikes have made the general public turn against the studios, and because of this, we just got this article today saying that the studios are in fact so upset right now, things are so tense over at Disney, that all of some of the biggest CEOs and executives in the industry are having a meeting tonight, actually, to discuss the strikes and what to do about it. Not even with the creatives, they're not talking with the creatives, they're just talking with each other, because they're like, oh, what do we do? The strike is going on longer than we wanted, and we don't know how to end the strike. Because according to this article, it's looking likely that already there's been enough damage done by the strikes that by next year, there's already going to be several months where there's just not a lot of content going to be coming out, because production has had to pause for so long. And the longer this strike goes, the longer that pause next year is going to be. And as we saw, because of the pandemic, theaters really can't survive not having a lot of content. So I think this is going to be really bad for the entire industry. It's going to be bad for theaters. So of course the studios and the executives are not happy. But really they've created a lot of these issues themselves. So it's hard to feel, it's hard to feel bad for them. Maggie Kitchen says, yay, more strikes. What do you mean, yay? Rusty Shackelford says, don't forget to like the stream. Oh yes, thank you, Rusty. Please like the stream. Turo says, why do movie studios not just give up and give what the people want? I think they're being very stubborn, and I think they're also, they're thinking of the future, and they're thinking of, like, for example, with AI. Studios do not want to give up the access to use AI whenever they want, because AI will have the potential of saving them millions, even billions of dollars in the future. So they're never going to say no to AI. So that's why they're not giving in to demands, even though there's such public pressure on them. Because there is a lot of there's a lot on their end as well that they're fighting for, that they feel just as justified in their quest on this side of the fight. The studios think they're in the right, and the creatives think they're in the right, and no one's really giving in the middle, which is why these strikes are lasting as long as they are. Boredom says, with the Hollywood thing happening, I'm hoping that means we get more series/movies made by people online. I would love that, as we've been talking about. I think that would be great if we got more, like, independent projects online. That'd be really cool. Gianna says, but it's gonna fail on the writers/actors eventually. Or it's gonna fall on them. Yeah. Who do you think is actually gonna win in this strike? So far, I think the studios look very much on the down. They're the ones that have all the public pressure on them because no one agrees with them. They're the ones that have, basically everyone mad at them. I mean, there are much more people in all of these guilds, especially like the SAG guild and the upcoming IATSE guild, than there are people that are in the AMPTP. So they just have all of the leverage, in my opinion. I think that the studios are really like they don't have a lot of the leverage that they think they do, to be honest. Angel Barrera, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. They didn't have a PR person to begin with. I know, right? You would think they would have thought of this ahead of time, but no. That just shows you how arrogant they have become, that they didn't even see this coming. They just knew that they had this strike in the bag and that they could just have this done quickly and that they were going to get the upper hand and everyone else was just going to be so desperate they'll take whatever deal they can get. But that is not what's happening. I think people are really standing their ground because they know what's at stake. They know they're fighting for the future of their profession. And I think that sort of fortitude has really surprised a lot of the executives, to be honest. I think how the strikes have gone. I mean, this article is example of just what I'm talking about. I think the fact that they're having this emergency meeting right now just shows you that these executives had no idea the strike was going to go this way. I don't even think they thought the SAG strike would actually happen. So, yeah, they're in a bit of a hot mess right now. But to be honest, they're the hot mess. They caused it. Duchess Lulu says the entertainment industry is kind of... Oh, ... What? That sounds very ominous. What do you mean? Laura B says the thing is that after so much time, people go hungry. I know it is awful because a lot of people are they're not able to work right now, so a lot of people are losing their jobs. I mean, who was it that just said? Billy Porter just said that he has already been starved out of his house and he's had to leave his house. So it is really unfortunate that these strikes are hurting people, but I still think that they're necessary. Moving on now. As we said, Bob Iger and David Zaslav are apparently stunned that they are being vilified by the press and by a lot of the people who are striking. Because remember yesterday, when we were talking about the strikes, or I think it was yesterday, and like we've been talking about all the things they've been saying, like, oh, Bob Iger said he's just gonna wait around for everyone to lose their homes and go hungry. David Zaslav, who, I mean, he's been an enemy long before the strike started, but, I mean, it's the things that these guys are saying that are making everyone hate them. And I don't understand. They must really lack self-awareness to not understand why they've become vilified in the industry. Everything that they've said has come across as extremely elitist and extremely out of touch. So I think that they're only hurting themselves, really. MW says, not the studios. Everyone hates them, and it's too late for them to do damage control on their image. It's supervillain level behavior. Some of the things that they've been saying has been like supervillain level behavior, like full on like mustache twirling, like evil villain stuff. You're right. Fawad Fareed says they be acting like influencers when a tweet comes up from 10 years ago. That's true. Anna Bear says they know we all hate them. They do. They're very painfully aware of it, especially Bob Iger, who I know has to be regretting coming out of retirement at this point, because, oof, this is awful. Really bad. Now, you guys remember part of the SAG rules for the strike is that none of the actors can promote any of their work. So none of the actors can go on social media and talk about any of the movies or shows that they're a part of. That's been a real big issue. A lot of actors have been upset that they can't promote their movies, including Tom Cruise. So that's been, as you guys know, one of the biggest issues of the strike so far. Well, Selena Gomez just recently posted last night, in fact, on Instagram, just simply saying missing and wanting only murders in the building, because, that's the show that she's on Hulu. It seems like a very innocent post, right? Like, just, oh, she's missing the show. Like, how can we be mad at her for that? Well, apparently a lot of people were very, very upset about this, and to be honest, I kind of saw this coming, because Selena Gomez has already deleted this post from her Instagram because she was being called a scab. If you don't know what a scab is a person that basically crosses the picket line. The person that doesn't follow the strike rules, the person no one likes, that's the person they call a scab. So this started becoming like this huge controversy for Selena Gomez, and I think it's a little silly. I mean, again, going just back to what she posted, she's not saying, oh, go watch Only Murders in the Building right now. She's not saying, oh, I wish the strikes would end so I could go back and film my show. She's just saying, missing the show. Do you guys think it was a big enough deal that she should have had to delete this post, or do you think it does go against the rules? I'm curious. Anna Bear says that, oh, they're reaching. So you think this is reaching. Interesting. Anwar says Bob Iger used to be such an amazing CEO. I know, it's crazy how his reputation has just gone down the drain. Wanda Dawn Miller says they're just like politicians, clueless, wealthy, and privileged. Oof. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Not wrong. Burning Daylighters, SAG should revoke her membership. She shouldn't act anyways, nor should she sing. Are you just saying that because you don't like Selena Gomez? The Blue Gecko Nerd says, celebrities always do this, especially when it becomes controversial. They post something for 2 seconds, then they delete it. Yeah, they do this a lot. I mean, I don't know if Selena knew what she was doing, if she realized she was breaking the rules. I mean, technically, you're not supposed to tweet about anything related to the shows, but this one, it just seems like such an innocent post that I don't think that this should be worth, like, her fearing her SAG license over. Rhea Rue says, I mean in his promo because her platform, but I don't know. I think it is. I think it's in a gray zone, to be fair. It's a gray zone. Yellow Umbrella, hello Yellow Umbrella, says, some people on Twitter be living in their mom's basement waiting for something controversial to happen. True, I think there is a bit of that as well, like social media and the press, by the way, not just social media, but also like journalists, just trying to get clicks will stir up controversy over nothing. So that's very true. But I wanted to just throw that out there. That's the only bit of strike news we have for today. But we are moving on to entertainment news, where we have a lot, and I mean a lot, to discuss. All right, moving on. We will talk about She-Hulk, but I'm not going to start there. Firstly, I just want to remind you guys that I do have a second channel now. It's called the Brittney Reacts Podcast channel, and this is where I'm putting segments and clips from the live streams there. So if you don't want to watch the full hour, or you just want to watch certain news topics that we cover or certain segments, go over there and please subscribe to that channel because I've been updating it. I've already uploaded some of the segments from our live stream yesterday. So please go over there. Please support it. It would really mean a lot to me. I have already posted the link for the podcast below. If it's not in the description, it should be there soon. You can always just look up Brittney Reacts Podcast and search. It comes up. But I would really appreciate it if you guys did go over to this other channel and subscribe. All right. Moving on. Oh, thank you, Natanya. Natanya just put the link over in the chat. So Natanya is already prepared. Thank you, Natanya. Already a great moderator. All right. Moving on. So the Bratz versus Barbie series What the heck is this? Okay, so I did a lot of reading into this because I was like, first of all, is this gonna be like Margot Robbie's Barbie? Is this Mattel? Like, I know they've already got like some 45 different projects in development. Is this some other Mattel thing? Are Mattel and Bratz teaming up for something? Like, what's going on? So I did do some research on what this is, and it is not actually a spin-off of the Barbie movie. It's not relevant to the Barbie movie at all, actually. It's actually about the creators of Barbie and Bratz. It's about their upcoming and how they created their dolls and their empires. And actually, kind of, the plot of it does sound interesting. But to be honest, when I found out what it was about, I was a little disappointed. And here's why. Because I think after the Barbie movie did so well, I actually think there's a very real possibility that a live-action Bratz movie could do just as well, if not better. Now, you guys may or may not have known, but there was a live-action Bratz movie in 2007. I think if they did something similar to this, with some, like, buzzy names, like popular actors that teens really like today, this would be such a huge hit. Especially since teens today are really in this, like, Y2K nostalgia kick. This would be perfect. I really feel like this would be a massive hit if they did this. And because I used to play with Bratz when I was a little girl, I even know what they could do with it. Bratz has a whole separate line called the Bratz Space Angels. Bear with me for a second. In the Bratz Space Angels movie, the Bratz girls decide they want to become a pop band and become a girl band that's based around like some sort of space aesthetic or whatever. I think that this is something that they could literally adapt. Teens love music. If you got a bunch of like teeny bopper heartthrobs together in this movie and you made them sing songs, you put them in these like Y2K outfits, you give it like the Barbie aesthetic that you saw from the Barbie movie where it's like very surreal and bright and colorful. I could totally see something like that actually being a hit. So, I think this is a cute idea. I might watch the series. I'll at least like react to the trailer. But to be honest, I really hope they go forth with the Bratz movie because that's where I feel like the gold mine is. Do you guys agree with me? Yes or no? Chocolate Babe says, but Euphoria Bratz would eat up Barbie. A Euphoria Bratz is exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe if they wanted to do a Bratz series, that's exactly what I would do with it. Make it a very edgy Euphoria style Bratz show. I think that would do very well. Oh, the cover girl was never into Bratz. That's fair. Joe says, I'm a guy, but it seems like the ladies like Bratz, so let me shut up. I'm sure a lot of guys right now are like, I don't care. Gianna says, at my school, if you were called a Bratz doll, it was an insult to have, because it meant you had a big head. I think I remember that. I think that was a thing, like, a while ago. But I just think that this is something that has potential. I think that Barbie doing so well, we're already gonna get a lot of, toy-related movies. Here was just my pitch on something that I think could actually do really well. Since we're getting, a Monopoly movie and a Uno movie, here's something I actually think has a chance. Here, do the Barbie movie, Hollywood. Do the Barbie movie. Anyway, moving on. Now to go on to something a little bit sad. We're about to talk about Stranger Things here. Because a lot of the actors have been, like, releasing little comments here and there talking about how, oh, it's the end. Oh, it's like graduating high school. Oh, like Joe Carey Harris says, it won't be easy for it to end. There's a sense of relief. There's a sense of sadness. And then Millie Bobby Brown, she said, it's like graduating school. It's like senior year. You're ready to go blossom, flourish, and you're grateful for the time you've had, but it's time to create your own message. So they've all, like, one by one been making all these, like, very melancholy statements about moving on from Stranger Things. Well, unfortunately for them, I don't think they're going to be able to move on for at least a few more years, because it doesn't look like we're going to get Stranger Things anytime soon. Because, as you guys already know, because of the strikes, Stranger Things 5 had to stop production. So they're not even going to be allowed to start filming again until the strikes are over. As we've been discussing in my live chat, or in my live streams, these chats ain't ending anytime soon, at least until early 2024 at the earliest. So they're not even going to be able to start really filming this thing until like maybe middle of next year. And then on top of that, this is the news that just came out recently. David Harbour just says that Stranger Things 5 will take an entire year to film. And I think they had just started filming when they had to shut down production. So they basically still have the majority of that year still left to go. Now, I don't think we're getting Stranger Things 5 until like 2026, to be honest with you. Maybe 2025, like late 2025 at the earliest. But I think 2026 is looking very, very likely. How do you guys feel about this? Are you upset that Stranger Things is coming so late? Do you want it to come earlier? Are you over the show? I want to know your thoughts. Josh Loves Movies says those kids are going to be adults by the time Stranger Things ends. Yeah, I know. People are already making fun of like how they look older now, but can you imagine by 2026? Jorge Barrios, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Funny things is none have been in anything else fun. Well, some have. David Harbour has been in a lot of stuff, actually. I feel like I've seen him in everything. I feel like if anyone has a career off of this show, David Harbour will. But thank you for the super chat, Jorge. And I did actually, because I knew the ages thing would come up, I found this website that has all of their ages now and how old they were when they started. And do you guys want to start to feel a little old? Because by the time this show ends, actually, already at this point for some of them, a lot of the younger cast will be the same age or are already the same age as what the teen casts were when they started. Isn't that crazy? Look at this. Natalia Dreyer, when the show started, she was 21 years old. Guess who's 21 now? Sadie Sink. So all of these younger actors, Gaten is now 20. So he's about the same age as Natalia was when the show started. Same with Joe Keery, he's 24. But these kids are already like 21, gonna be 23, 24 by the time the show ends. So they've literally aged up into the teen position that the teen started off as. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Ethan says, I'm ready for it to end. I can't keep doing these long waits for new seasons. I know, it is crazy, isn't it? I know, we started the show in 2016. It feels like forever ago that this show started. And we still have a few more years before it ends. It's gonna be probably almost a full 10 years from the start of the show to the end of it. That's like Game of Thrones level long. Like, who knew the show would last that long? Oh, Joe says Gaten has a prank show on Netflix that's actually hilarious. I did see a trailer for it. It looked interesting. Anna Bear says, can't believe how young they were when they started. I know! Millie Bobby Brown was only 12 when the show started. And by the time it ends, she's going to be like 23, 24. Probably about the age that Joe was when the show started. How crazy is that? But anyway, I had to share this with you because if I'm going to have existential dread, we're all going to have existential dread. Alright, moving on. Now, you guys know about The Flash. The Flash has been a monumental disaster. Not just for, a disaster for a movie kind. It's been a disaster for, all superhero movies in general. This movie has just been nonstop embarrassment after embarrassment. So not only is it the worst performing superhero movie of all time, not only did The Flash end its theatrical run lower than Green Lantern, sorry. Not only did this movie end its entire run below Green Lantern, which is the movie that flopped so badly that Ryan Gosling had to go in hiding for years, and had to rehabilitate his career with Deadpool. The Flash did even worse than that, though. And not even there. It gets worse, guys. It gets worse. Because The Flash bombed so hard that apparently it hurt the comic sales. So people were just so disinterested in The Flash as a character that people didn't even want to go buy the comics anymore. Like, it didn't even just hurt its own self. It hurt an entirely separate industry. Like, that's embarrassing. But now we have a new embarrassing headline, guys. It got even worse somehow. It got even worse. And that's The Flash. As you know, it finally went on Max, the streaming service, and for its first 3 days of release, it was only watched by 1.1 million households. To put into perspective of just how bad that is, Black Adam, the big embarrassing flop that was Black Adam for The Rock, that still managed to do 1.2 million during the same time. So The Flash managed to flop both in theaters and on Max. And now it's doing even worse than Black Adam. I mean, how embarrassing is that? Especially with how much controversy there was over how poorly Black Adam did. And then to see this? Oof! Oof! I don't know, I would probably hide my head in shame. I'm not gonna lie. If I were James Gunn, I'd be like, oof, I'd take back everything I ever said about this movie. I mean, The Batman did 4.1 million. The Suicide Squad, 3.5. Even Zack Snyder's Justice League did 2.2 million. And this did only 1.1. People just weren't interested in this. Like, doesn't matter if it was in theaters, doesn't matter if it was free on Max. People just did not want to see this movie. How embarrassing is that? Danny said this is why they should cancel people who need to be canceled. I definitely think all the controversies from Ezra Miller hurt the movie for sure. I definitely think that was part of it. Jorge Barrios, thank you so much for the super chat. Wow. Very much appreciated. I feel bad for Affleck. He had an amazing Batman, and he keeps getting knocked down because the studio's incompetence and refusing to give him a solo film with brutal, ruthless Batman we saw in BVS. I think Affleck originally wanted to do a solo Batman movie. He even wanted to direct it. But then he had such a bad experience with Batman v Superman and Justice League. He was like, I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore. And to be honest, how could you even blame him? I mean, you saw how those movies turned out. So yeah, it just sucks what happened with Affleck and everything involved. But at least he's moving on now. He seems to be doing okay, so I guess Ben's alright, so we shouldn't have to worry about him too much. But thank you for the super chat, Jorge. And I do think I missed another super chat. Did I? I did, Jorge. Okay. Funny thing is, none have been in... Oh, no, that was the same one I just read. Oh, this is the one I skipped. Angel Barrera says, won't they look older when the strike ends? I think someone did mention... I think he's talking about Stranger Things. I think they are doing a time jump for Stranger Things. So that will fix that issue, at least, with them looking older. They're going to need the time jump for sure. But thank you for the super chat. Right, I think I got caught up there. Wanda Dawn Miller says, I think Ezra Miller did the majority of the damage. I won't watch it because of them. Yeah, a lot of people said they didn't watch this movie specifically because of Ezra Miller. And to be honest, Ezra is a large reason why I didn't watch it either. So I'm kind of in the same boat. Simi Charm says, Ezra is on an Amber Heard level for me. Wow. Wow. I don't know about that. Lil Boozy Bert says, what a waste of good anime characters anime character look and acting chops, Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller does have a very interesting face, that's true. I guess he kind of does look like an anime character. Alright, moving on though. Let's talk about some more Batman news, because look at this. Max is actually doing something sort of smart. As everyone's moving away from linear television, which, as you know, is broadcast TV, regular cable, traditional television that we all used to watch before streaming took over. As you're watching TV, I don't know if they do this in other countries, but here in the US, if there's an alert for something, say it's weather or even an Amber Alert, you'll see like a message at the bottom. It'll interrupt whatever you're watching to tell you about the alert. Well, now that everyone's moving to streaming, it looks like they're trying to add those alerts to streaming now because they still need a way to reach people, even though people aren't watching traditional TV as much anymore. So it looks like Max is the first one that's going to be adding these news alerts. Now, to be fair, Warner Brothers Discovery is the company that owns Max and CNN, so I think this is just more about brand synergy, but I do think we'll probably see this more, just because we do need those alerts in streaming, because if people aren't going to see them on traditional TV, how are people going to know when, like, an emergency is happening? So we're probably going to start seeing this more. What do you guys think about this? This is just a small news story, but I thought it was interesting to add. Flawed Farid says streaming was a safe space to not hear the tornado siren beeps. Oh, I know. It looks like we might be getting those tornado siren beeps again. Joe says, oh, good, CNN news alerts, because they're really telling us what we need to know. I'm hoping it's only going to be for, like, major news and not, like, for something trivial. Semi-Charm says, doesn't my phone give me those alerts? I'm so confused. Yeah, your phone can do it, but also they happen on TV as well. It's called the Emergency Broadcast System, yes. Thank you, Anna Bear. Josh Loves Movies says, it shows up on your phone. Yeah, phones and TV, as I just said. But this is just a small story. I thought I'd bring it up because I thought it was interesting. Now, getting to the Five Nights at Freddy's trailer. I know a lot of you guys are really excited for this movie. And after watching the trailer, I'm actually a lot more excited for it than I originally was, because I think it looks so good. I'm actually surprised by how good it looks. It kind of reminds me of It, actually. They did announce a couple weeks ago that this movie is going to be 3 hours long. Yes, 3 hours. So this movie is going to be about as long, or almost as long, as the last Avatar movie. Just putting into perspective. It's as long as Oppenheimer, just about. So, a very long movie. And I was wondering, like, how are they gonna make this movie 3 hours? Why Five Nights at Freddy's, of all properties, gonna be a 3-hour movie? Like, I was thinking that they were gonna make Five Nights at Freddy's, like, sort of a B horror movie kind of a film. Like, I was not thinking they were gonna make this something very highbrow. I thought this was gonna be a very lowbrow, sort of like, I don't know, B-movie-esque horror movie. But then when I watched the trailer, it kind of reminded me of It, which was more of a highbrow horror movie. And I was like, wait a minute, this isn't too bad. So I'm not going to be able to actually, like, do a full reaction because this is Universal, and Universal is crap with copyright. But I am going to do a few stills, just to show you what I mean. So firstly, you can see here, for those of you who don't know the Five Nights at Freddy's game, it's basically a sandbox game where you're playing a security guard and you're just watching all these screens like you have here, and you're waiting to watch and see if anything moves around. And of course the animatronics, because the security guard works at sort of a Chuck E. Cheese's type place where the animatronics are there. But in the game, the animatronics come to life, and that's what's scary. So we see the animatronics in the trailer, and they look fantastic, actually. So we have some guys breaking into the Five Nights at Freddy's place, and then we see the first animatronic, and it looks terrifying. Where'd it go? Yeah, this is the first animatronic we see in the trailer, and I think this looks really good. It looks straight out of the game. Like, straight out of the game. Stuff of nightmares. If you saw an animatronic walking to you looking like this, I think you'd scream too. What do you guys think? Blue Gecko Nerd says, I've seen the trailer and it also looks bleh. Oh, interesting. So not everyone liked the trailer? Should I do a poll about this? Like, who actually liked the trailer? Let's do it. Alright. What did you guys think of the FNAF trailer? I'm gonna do loved it. And I'm gonna do meh. And third option, hated it. And then fourth option, haven't seen it. Alright, starting the poll. MW says, I literally have never heard of this before today. What? Oh no! We've been talking about it on the live stream. It could be a big movie. I actually think this could be a big hit. Josh Loves Movie says, don't mess with Chica or a cupcake, or it will eat your face off. Oh, it looks like it will. Definitely looks like it will. I mean, they show more of the animatronics later, and they look horrifying. Seriously. Where is the animatronics? Was that right here? No. Oh yeah. This guy, these guys, they look terrifying. Could you imagine being in like a Chuck E. Cheese's like place late at night, and you see these, just these awful looking, creepy looking bears staring at you? Ugh, I couldn't. And even the color grading, how it looks very washed out like this with the kids playing around, definitely reminds me of it, like, a lot. And Josh Hutcherson is in it! I didn't even know Josh Hutcherson was in this movie, looking very much like a dad, which is surprising, because the last time I saw him was in, like, The Hunger Games when he was a kid, so I'm like, wait a minute, why does he look like a dad? But yeah, he's in this movie. It just looks very, very creepy. Oh yeah, here he is. Here's the big bear, I don't know their name, sorry, but the big bear animatronic. He looks good. Again, all the animatronics look like they come straight out of the game. They did a very good job with the designs. Going to the poll, okay, 53% of you haven't seen the trailer, but 31% of you, so a good percentage of the people who have seen the trailer did like it. Again, I liked it too. 15% of you were just kind of mad about it. That's fair. And 1% of you hated it. So that's not, 1% of you hated it, that's not a lot of people. So I guess the people who are interested in this movie are probably very excited about it. So I'm going to end the poll now. Pardon me, I can't wait for this movie. It seems a lot of people are very excited. Rusty says father mode enabled. I know, he's looking very much like a dad. Alright, moving on. She-Hulk. This is our next topic, because what the F? So, you guys probably know, or maybe you don't know, but when Marvel released their She-Hulk series, it was met with, let's say, some divisiveness. I think that's pretty fair to say. Not everyone liked it. I watched it myself, even though I don't think it was well written. I think the writing was very poor. I can at least say it was an entertaining week to week. Like, there was at least stuff to talk about. And boy, did people talk about She-Hulk. I feel like every week there was just, like, non-stop videos on YouTube about She-Hulk. And, like, people complaining about She-Hulk or people breaking down She-Hulk. But regardless, people were talking about it, even if it wasn't very positive. So I guess maybe all that chatter is why there's a rumor now, and this is definitely a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt, that She-Hulk Season 2 might actually be happening post-strike? Now, this is coming from an account called My Time to Shine on Twitter, or X, whatever. He's just a scooper, so again, like I said, this is very much just a rumor, take it with a massive grain of salt. But he is a scooper that is known to get a lot of things right, so that's why I'm bringing it up. I don't think this is going to happen. I think this is very much a bad idea, if this is happening at all. I can't see it, because the backlash from the fan base was so intense. I'm pretty sure She-Hulk was the reason, or at least the catalyst, for Marvel delaying so much of their Disney Plus shows. Because so many people were so angry with it, they delayed so many of their Disney Plus shows, and that's why we didn't get Secret Invasion until just recently. That was the first Disney Plus show since She-Hulk, because they needed that much of a pause, because so many people hated the show that much. I just can't see it happening. Oh, My Time to Shine is a she? Well, I found that out today. I was today years old when I found that out. Cool. Mob Boss Bob Ross, interesting name, says, I thought Marvel confirmed they weren't doing a season 2 since people hated it so much. Maybe they changed their mind. I don't know. Again, this is just a rumor. It might not be true at all. And honestly, the reason I don't think it's true is because you guys remember this segment, as we've already brought it up earlier in the stream, but when Bob Iger said that he thinks that the writers and actors are being unrealistic with their expectations, and this whole statement right here got a lot of people angry. Well, it got Tatiana Maslany specifically very angry, because she even said, she specifically called out Bob Iger while she was on the picket line and said that Bob Iger was completely out of touch. He's completely out of touch with the workers who make his shows happen, who make people watch these shows, who bring viewers to him and his money. So Tatiana Maslany has been on the strike front lines talking smack about Bob Iger this entire time. I just don't see this combined with the fact that the show wasn't even well received, I just can't see a season 2 happening. I don't know. Maybe Marvel's thinking, oh, we really like She-Hulk, we still want to do something with her, maybe we'll just get different writers. Or maybe they're thinking, I don't know, at least everyone was talking about it. Like, no one was talking about Secret Invasion, but at least people were talking about She-Hulk. Like, maybe that's what they're thinking. Maybe they're going the whole Velma approach, where it's like, yeah, we know people aren't going to like the show, but at least people will talk about it. Like, I don't know. This is the only reason I could see them doing something like this. What do you guys think? Oh, Anna Bear says her acting was really bad, in my opinion. A lot of people said that, which is surprising because before this show happened, Tatiana Maslany was very much. She had a reputation for being a fantastic actress because she was on a show called Orphan Black. And I actually watched that show. It was a very good show. She played multiple different characters, and she was fantastic in every single role that she played. She really made you believe each of those roles were different people. So she had a really good reputation before this show happened for being a fantastic actress. And then, yeah, you're not the first person I've seen say that they didn't think she was very good on the show. So I'm like, wait a minute. What happened to her acting skills? I feel like she's much better than this. Again, I blame the writing, to be honest. I don't blame her. Oh, Angel Barrera, thank you again so much for the super chat. Really nice. A season 2 would work if She-Hulk breaks the fourth wall to fight Bob Iger. If they had She-Hulk fight Bob Iger, I would totally be down for it. You know what? I'm totally down for a She-Hulk season 2 no matter what anyway. Because people would definitely talk about it, and it would give me something to react to. So, as a content creator, I would love She-Hulk season 2, but from a business sense, I just don't think it makes any sense. Like, what is the benefit here? Should I even do a poll about this? Who wants a She-Hulk? You know what? Let's do a poll. Doing the poll now. Alright, starting the poll. Who wants a She-Hulk season 2? I'm gonna say yes. Heck no. And maybe. Alright, starting the poll. Josh Loves Movies says She-Hulk fighting Kevin Feige would be awesome. I mean, we've already had the robot Kevin in She-Hulk. I mean, is it really too much of a stretch to think that they would just go the extra step? I don't think so. I'm Kai says, I like She-Hulk. I thought it was aware of its flaws, and then leaning towards humor worked well. You know what's kind of sad? When I watched She-Hulk, I was thinking this was just the lowest of the low. Like, wow, Disney Plus content has really sunk pretty far. But then since then, we've gotten Secret Invasion. We've gotten more Star Wars stuff. We've just gotten a lot more Disney Plus stuff that I'm like, you know what? That wasn't the lowest of the low. Maybe She-Hulk wasn't that bad. I still don't think it's great. But in comparison, I think She-Hulk is actually one of the better ones now. I think that's just a damning assessment of all Disney Plus stuff in general, though. Not really a compliment for She-Hulk. Okay, a couple of you like She-Hulk. That's fine. 52% of you are saying heck no for season 2, though. So a lot of you are not interested in a sequel. 31% are saying maybe. So that's actually a healthy dose of skepticism. 16% saying heck yes, though. So there's actually still some interest here. Again, I'm actually gonna yes. Why not? I don't know. It could be fun. But still, half of you are just not interested in all. So that's fair. Anyways, I do want to get to the member comments. Of course, I love talking to my members. If you want to be a member, just press the join button at the bottom of the screen. If you're a member, you have the chance of getting a shout out here on my live streams. I do talk about just general discussions in the community tab about things that we talk in the live stream. Like today, in the member section, I asked you guys, what did you think about a possible She-Hulk season 2? And you guys had a lot of really interesting things to say. Natanya think this is a terrible idea. I think you're right. And this is the comment where I saw you on to be a mod, so now you are. Mickey says, who asked for this and why we really don't need a She-Hulk season 2? It wasn't even that good. I don't think this is a good idea. Most of you guys were just like, this is a terrible idea. Why would Disney even do this? And I definitely agree with you. Connor Nelson says Marvel needs to create queer lead characters in live action. The world needs its first big gay/bi/trans superhero. If they did that, there would be such a hullabaloo around it. I don't even know. I feel like that would be so controversial. Unfortunately, I don't even know if Marvel could do something like that right now, unless they would just be grinning and bearing it and, like, accepting the backlash, but I don't know. Do you think Marvel could get away with a bi, gay, or even a trans superhero? Do you think Disney would even allow them to do that? I'm very curious. I honestly think no, not after the whole DeSantis Florida thing. I think Disney is playing it very safe at the moment. But thank you for the comment and thank you for being a member. Danny says they should stop doing things. Don't do anything. Just take a breather. No one is asking for any of this. Oh, who should stop, Danny? Should Disney stop? Marvel stop? Everyone stop? You're probably thinking everyone. But you're not wrong, though. Not wrong. Danny says, nope, it would be too woke and it would flop. That's the thing. I think it would become such... Having a gay, bi, or trans superhero, I think, would become such a lightning rod of controversy. Either that controversy would help it be a major hit, or it would be a major flop. I don't know. It'd be one or the other, to be honest. Going into another comment, Mary Lynn Sherry says, I would watch it someday, but I don't understand why. Jessica Jones should be much cheaper and it's way less controversial. I would love another season of Jessica Jones. Now that Marvel does own the Netflix series, I would love another season of Jessica Jones, especially if they brought back David Tennant somehow. That was a good show. Vobatho says, I assume, like Velma, most of season 1 of She-Hulk was hate-watched. Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely hate-watched. At least I did. Maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but I would prefer a season 2 of Moon Knight. Are we ever going to see Moon Knight again? I feel like there is a number of new Marvel characters that they recently introduced in the past couple of phases that I just don't think we're ever going to see again. Are we going to see Harry Styles again? Are we going to see Moon Knight again? When are we actually going to see these characters? I don't know. Duchess Lulu says, Disney is kind of repeating the same storyline over and over again. Oh yeah, I've been talking about that in my videos. I think Disney really is creatively bankrupt right now. Even their original movies are still, based on tropes that they've put in other original movies. So they're still kind of repeating themselves. Nick just says, I don't think Marvel is in the position to do that right now, but I hope so. I hope soon. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Nick. I honestly don't think they could even get away with it. I think it would probably not do well, unfortunately. Jiminy Craftstar really liked Moon Knight. Okay, so some people liked it. But anyway, thank you everyone for commenting here. Oh, I did have a few more. I'm gonna respond to anyone I didn't respond here in the video. But thank you for everyone who is a member. I really appreciate it. Again, please press the join button at the bottom of the screen to become a member. It really does help the channel, and I really appreciate it. Alright, so that was actually the last bit of news I wanted to go over. So, for the next 10 minutes, it's just going to be an Ask Me Anything. You can ask me about anything that we talked about today or anything about entertainment news in general. I'm really curious because this was a really fun stream. We had a lot of good things to talk about. You guys have been savage as always. But now you guys can just ask me about anything. Oh, it looks like we haven't... Was this a new member? Oh, it is a new member. Lightthorn, thank you so much for becoming a member. That's great. Just as I was saying, you guys should become a member. We had a new one, so that's great. Thank you. Josh Loves Movies says Shang-Chi 2 is in the works. Shang-Chi 2, I'm sure they are working on it, but when are we getting it? Marvel has such a problem right now where they have such a backlog, and with the strikes, we're probably not even gonna get Shang-Chi 2 until 2027. And that's gonna be, what, 5 years after the first one? And the first one only did so-so? I don't know. Are we really gonna be excited for Shang-Chi 2 by the sequel comes out? I mean, all of these sequels are now, they have such long waits in between each movie that it's kind of killing the hype for them. It wasn't like that in the first 3 phases. The Blue Gecko Nerd says, Brittney, if you had a podcast, I'd be a guest. You would be on such a... Oh, is there a guest you'd want on the podcast? Is that what you're asking? I'd have any celebrity. Hey, if any celebrity's watching, you want to be on my show, even to call me out or on something I've said, hey, you can come on the show. I'll take anyone. Oh yeah, thank you, Natanya. Please make sure to subscribe to never miss a live stream. Also, make sure to subscribe to my second channel as well. Again, it is linked on my channel. It's called Brittney Reacts Podcast. I really would appreciate you guys subscribing over there and subscribing to this channel. Also, like the video, it really would help. Will I watch The Nun 2? I will watch The Nun 2 to review it, because I know you guys want to hear it. Also, speaking of reviews, I am going to watch The Flash. I told you guys I was going to watch The Flash, and I was going to roast it. So we're going to talk about Flash, actually, on Friday. That's going to be Friday's show. I'm going to do a live roasting of The Flash. Maybe I'll like it. Maybe it won't be a roast, but I just can't not see it be a roast, to be honest. Everything I've seen from that movie looks worse and worse to me, but we'll see. So please be here on Friday. Subscribe to make sure you don't miss that video. I think it's going to be a really fun live stream. And Natanya just posted the link to the second channel again. Always on it, Natanya. It's so great. Angel Barrera, thank you so much for the super chat. Get Bob Iger on a stream. Heck, if I could get Bob Iger to come on here and defend himself, I'd be so just content with life. I'd be like, here, Bob Iger, please explain your horrible decisions. Alright, thank you for coming on the show. That would be great. Yes. Pop says, I do have a question. Why are so many original movies bombing too? Isn't it just reboots that deserve to be trashed? Well, I think a lot of original movies... Okay, you want to know my honest opinion on this? Oh, we have another new member, Kai. Thank you, Kai, for becoming a member. We have so many members today. This is great. Thank you so much, Kai. Going back to Pop, I think, honestly, a lot of the original movies that Hollywood is putting out is, like, they're still not that original. Like, they'll put out an original family drama where maybe the guy is not the best, but he's just trying his hardest to be a good father, and the mom is, like, crying and screaming every other scene, like Marriage Story or something. It's like, yeah, it's an original movie technically, but it's all story beats and, storylines you've seen 1,000 times. I think that's why Everything Everywhere got so much actual attention, especially for such a small movie, because it genuinely was fresh and original and different. It wasn't just, repeated storylines we keep seeing over and over again. At least that's what I think. I also think, especially with, like, I'm going to call it the TikTok generation, like the generation where attention spans are so short, because everyone's just, like, scrolling online through social media a lot. I think that this is just my theory. I don't even have, like, a lot of proof for this, but my theory is that I think that you have to... If you go so long in a scene without something new happening, I think you're going to lose a lot of people, especially the younger you go. I think the younger, especially the really young audience, needs something like every 3 minutes. I'm not even kidding. I think they really need, like, new information constantly. So if you're going to make an original movie, and you want, like, younger people to see it, especially, or just, like, general, like, large amounts of people at all, I think they also have to be much faster paced, just for the TikTok generation. That's my guess, anyway. Not just Gen Z, I mean also Gen Alpha, because Gen Z is actually getting older. I think a lot of times people say Gen Z now, they actually mean Gen Alpha. Gen Z is, like, the oldest Gen Z is, like 26. Tegan Hopperoni says Hercules remake will be inspired by TikTok. I did see that. And when I first heard about it, I was like, who wants a TikTok-inspired Hercules? That sounds weird. But when I think about it, if they mean a TikTok-inspired Hercules, meaning they pace the movie in a way where you can always, like, clip the movie and have something to share, I could see that working. Maybe not everyone will like it because it'll probably move at a pace that not everyone will be used to, but I can actually see that working. Yeah, Gen Alpha is 12, exactly. That's what I mean, like really young kids, like Gen Alpha. Um, I thought Gen Alpha was 5 max. That's what everyone seems to think, but no, Gen Alpha is actually starting to get a little bit older now. I think the oldest Gen Alpha is 12. So they're getting up there. Sassy says, I thought you had to be at least 13 to sign up to YouTube. I mean, do age verifications really stop anyone from doing anything? I have very vivid memories of being like an 8-year-old on the internet saying I was 18 trying to get into sites. Like, I mean, all you have to say is, yes, I'm 18. It's like they don't prove anything. I don't know. Twitter, you're also supposed to be at least 14, I think, and I see like 10-year-olds on Twitter all the time, so I don't think any of these apps really like take the age thing seriously, to be honest. Godfried, you're the oldest Gen Alpha. Okay. I forgot how young you are. Oh, Ariana doesn't want a TikTok Hercules. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Lightthorn says, oh, now Gen Z is getting old. Soon they'll be having an existential crisis. It's the circle of life. I'm sure as soon as Gen Z starts turning 30, which is only in like 4 years, they're going to be like, oh no, my youth. And then they're going to be complaining about Gen Alpha, because that's how the cycle goes. Jim in Craft Style says the OG's no lying about your birthday for Facebook. I've been lying about my birthday when I was a kid, pretty much until I was 18. That's what I'm talking about. Everyone lies about their age on the internet. Everyone. When they're a kid. Simi Charm says, I'm anywhere from between 28 and 36, depending on what the person in front of me believes. Oh, interesting. I guess you have one of those faces, you could be any age. I kind of have one of those faces too. No one knows how old I am. They're always like, how old are you? But anyway, I'll take like 2 more questions and that'll be the end of the live stream for today. And I'll see you guys tomorrow at 7 p.m. Thank you everyone who showed up today. I really appreciate it. This is a good conversation. Again, make sure to subscribe to this channel and also the second channel. See, Fod Fareed, the 12-year-old, says, my fake online birthday is 1976. You're 47 online? This is what I'm talking about. You're 12 pretending to be 47 online because it's so easy to do. Anyway, one more question. Denisha says, I'm trying hard not to be that person that complains about a new generation of 24 years old. I know, I try not to be that too, especially since so many people complain about millennials and Gen Z. I just feel like we shouldn't always like pass on that hatred to the next generation. I feel like we should be hating, well, no, I won't go there, but anyway. But yeah, I agree. We probably shouldn't even pay attention to as much as the generation stuff as we do. I just bring it up because I do think that, especially like, I'm going to say the 20 and under crowd, I really do think the 20 and under crowd are just growing up in a radically different world than the rest of us have. And I think that their behavior and how they consume entertainment and media, I think as they grow older, will overall influence and change the entire industry, which is why I bring up generations at all, because I think the younger generations are very different from everyone else. And by the time they're, in their 20s, I think the entertainment industry is going to look very different. But Angie Suarez, thank you so much for the super chat. Love your live streams. Thank you so much. That was really kind of you. That's a great way to end the live stream. Thank you. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll be it for today. And I'll see you then. Bye.